right, Jared, you called it. I went and saw Michael yesterday with my wife. What is that? I'm not sure why it's funny.
Because I was honestly going to text you and ask if you would go see it to give us a review,
Okay.
You love the musical biopics, and when I saw this
do.
movie was out, and it seemed like it was just right up your alley, so that's why it was just kind of funny to me.
It absolutely was. Plus, my wife is we both are Michael Jackson music fans. You know, some of his other stuff that went on, that's a whole different story. But the music, you can't go wrong. I mean, he's the king of pop for a reason, right? But
Yeah.
I'll give you my review. Okay. The casting, outstanding. Okay. Michael Jackson, Jafar Jackson, who is his nephew, Jermaine's son, played him as the older Michael Jackson. Dead on, man. I mean, you couldn't even be any closer to what Michael Jackson was like. And then the younger Michael Jackson was played by a kid called Juliano Valdi. He was also spot on. So great casting there. And the dad, Coleman Domingo, he played Dad Joseph, and Nia Long played his mother, Catherine, also very good. Again, the music. I mean, how could it not be good? Michael Jackson music. And if you're sitting in a theater, I went to the NCG, Dolby surround sound, man. It's nothing like it when you do go to a big screen movie. It was awesome. Choreography, also dead on. Now, I had one question about that. Was it really Jafar Jackson doing all the Michael Jackson steps, or was there AI involved?
No, I think it was him. I think I saw videos of him practicing it. Like you said, from what I've heard, I always thought Michael Jackson was such a creep. I don't know what it is about this movie, and he's been kind of going reviral. It kind of is making me appreciate the younger Michael Jackson, which was one of the coolest guys ever. I mean, and that's what this movie was set, right? It was his it's not like nothing bad has happened yet. It was kind of the peak from him as a child to his peak, basically, and then I kind of left it there.
Yep. And that kind of leads me into the bad of the movie. Okay, I thought the script was a little weak. Okay, way too much time spent on his dad, Joe Jackson. I mean, I want to see the Michael Jackson stuff, right? We all know that his dad was a dick, and a tyrant and all that. You could have just painted the picture a little bit and then moved on from that, but there was a little bit too much. Bubbles the chimp, I mean, he had a pet chimpanzee, and I thought a little bit too much there. And I also thought, for an icon like Michael Jackson, I don't think you could do it justice in 2 hours. I mean, Michael Jordan had a 10-part documentary. It should have been a series. It should have been HBO.
And the thing is, like, Michael Jackson's so under wraps by his family, right? That this is basically not necessarily a propaganda piece, but
it was. No, it was. It was a Jackson family production,
right?
So because Janet Jackson wanted nothing to do with it, and
he's the only one, though.
Right,
the other one's cashed in.
And from my understanding, she's like not really in it at all, because of that, right? Yeah.
No.
Okay, so there you go.
And the other thing is, like I said, it should have been a series, a 4 to 8 part series, whether you want to run it on HBO or Netflix. It kind of rushed through the younger portion of his career, which was huge, I mean, his whole career, it stopped. The movie ended in 1988 in one performance that he did in Wembley Stadium. So there was a lot of stuff that happened after 1988 too, not necessarily all good.
I think they're going to do a sequel. I think that's basically been confirmed. Is that there's
okay?
But what is that going to be? Because I mean,
well, and I think that's been part of the discussion, like kind of what you're talking about, Ted. Like, you can't, there's some of these characters, if you want to call them characters, that you can't just do a 2-hour movie on. Michael Jordan, you couldn't do, even though that The Last Dance was based on one season. Right. That wouldn't be justified in a 2-hour movie. So it's similar to Michael Jackson. This is clearly just a small little snapshot, just a little teaser. Because if you went deeper, part of it too is you would have to get into the bad stuff.
You had to, yeah.
A 2-hour movie, you can keep it mostly fluff and show some of the dad and some of the other stuff. But a 2-hour movie, you keep it all good. His music's amazing. He's the best performer ever. All that kind of stuff.
Right.
But if you turn it into a 10-part series, or start having it be 2-3 movies, you're going to have to get into some of the scandal and some of the bad stuff. Otherwise, you're not telling his true story,
Yeah, and that's part of his life.
Right.
But I do agree with you, Matt, because overall, I would say it was an okay 2-hour break from reality. Seeing some good music. They covered all the points, even though they were condensed. And like I said, it could have been so much better. I don't know if you guys pay much attention to Rotten Tomatoes, but it had 39% on the tomato meter. That's, I think, the critics, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the popcorn meter, 97%. So big discrepancy there between those two.
I think that's kind of what I've been here. I listened to a couple of movie podcasts and they did a review on it, and they basically said, it's entertaining for 2 hours, but basically it's like not even really a movie. It's almost like just music video to music video, and you're entertained. I mean, obviously your music is so good, it's pretty hard not to be entertained. But not much like substance to it really at all.
Yeah. Nope, I agree. And I would give it on the 3-point podcast scale, probably 2.3. Maybe 2.4 if I want to get extremely generous. Could have been better, but it still was okay. Okay to go see at the theater and get away from life for a couple hours.
Because he's one of those people too where you would almost want, and the family probably kind of like what you said, Jared, that the family would probably never allow it.
Mm-hmm.
You would almost want a 10-part documentary on him.
He's the number one person that you'd want that for,
right? You want to know what happened, what went on in his life, and they're probably never going to let all that stuff get out, so
they'd have to do it without the family's permission, right?
Right.
And that's been done before too, but it's worth seeing, I would say, guys. I mean, the music itself, it really sounded good in the theater, I will say that.
Oh yeah, I mean, maybe you do really like, if you're a big fan, but sometimes there's those artists that you forget how many hits they have. Like his catalog is absolutely insane.
Unreal. Yeah.
Especially the Jackson 5. To me at least, I'll speak for me personally, that I didn't realize how many hits they kind of had as a group. So
and they did covered some of that. They just how they got discovered and signed with Motown and all that. I mean, they covered it pretty well. And like I said, the younger Michael Jackson from the Jackson 5, he was really good. They both were good. So it was a fun movie to see. How about you guys? Any entertainment on your docket the last couple weeks?
Haven't been watching much. I mean, I did get sucked into Love is Blind. I know, Jared, I don't know if your girlfriend watches that or not on Netflix. But my wife, she watches it. So sometimes I get sucked into watching, and then you get caught up in the drama. It's actually, it really is. I've probably talked about it on here. It's a really interesting concept. It's so ridiculous though.
It was kind of a ground. I remember it came out right during COVID. I watched it with my brothers. That was like the first season was right at the perfect time where we all locked down. And it is a fascinating plot, and you're right. The drama continues afterwards. Like, these people become basically celebrities after their show,
right?
So it doesn't end just as soon as it's over. Then you're okay. They divorced, 2-3 months later, or they're still together, or whatever.
Right.
I just have one small one, Euphoria. Ted, are you still watching that, or what?
I haven't started the new season yet. I'm going to check it out, but you tell me if I should.
Well, the first couple episodes, I was like, this is going to be the worst show of all time. This season is going to be so bad. But then
people were hating it.
And then episodes 3 and 4 came around, and it's like, I'm kind of back in on it. I'm kind of like, this is a good show. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. So I will say, it is kind of it's a very cringy a lot of times, but the director, Sam Levinson, this, it looks amazing. It looks like a movie when you're watching. It has it just looks like the guy's a talented director, but obviously he has a little bit of issues sometimes with the plot and script and things like that. But at this point, it's such a star-studded cast with Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi, Zendaya. It's it's kind of fun to just watch them all in the same show.
Right.
So it's came around, and now I'm into it, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Probably another couple weeks, then I'll start binging a couple episodes at a time. So
I know those after those first couple episodes, people were pretty out on it. They said it was almost a little too extreme, even for that show.
There is some stuff that's why this is disgusting. Why is this even in it? It's there's a whole drug trafficking scene where they're swallowing, bags of heroin, I guess.
Oh, geez.
Transporting and it's like a 3-minute scene. I'm like, well, dude, we don't even need to see this. This is the dumbest plot of all time anyway. So that's probably where people are dude, that's what I mean. I was kind of done with them. Dude, I think I might not even finish this season. And then season 3 or episode 3 is where they like Sydney Sweeney and Jacob Elordi's character get married, and it's a pretty enthralling episode. And then from there, it's like, okay, I kind of see what the plot is of this season. Whereas the first 2 episodes, they're all in separate places, all these main characters, and now they're kind of back together, which is what you want to see. Yeah. Is all them acting together. So
did they touch upon that guy that died?
Yeah, one of the cringier scenes. Well, it's like he's in prison for 30 years, and like Zendaya's character calls him like it's like one of the cringier scenes in one of the first couple episodes.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean that kind of was. The show has had a lot of turmoil outside of the actual show. Right. With years and years have passed between seasons. Right. I mean, it started with them in high school, like they were high schoolers, and I don't think they needed to jump as far as they did. I mean, all those actors and actresses, they could pass as college kids. It's like they didn't need to jump ahead to where they're, I don't know, like my age, 27, 28. They could have just still kept in the college realm.
Right.
I don't know. We're talking too much about a show that's essentially, it's like, it's erotica, man, basically.
Right.
I don't know. It has a little plot to it, but that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.